Hello everyone, welcome back, and today I just wanted to make a video talking about this Vitor Roque situation because a lot of Barcelona fans are upset about this situation. I think a lot of us realize that the club has handled this situation pretty poorly. What is this going to do for Vitor Roque's confidence? What is this going to look like on the outside to other top talents around the world that Barcelona are going to want to sign in the next couple years? And, are they going to be put off by the idea that a Barcelona new signing from Brazil, in his first couple months at the club, gets a couple opportunities, he gets one start, and now he's discarded. Now he's possibly going to leave permanently in the summer. Yeah, it's just a bad look for Barcelona, so I just wanted to talk about all of that today. Let's just go through the timeline of Vitor Roque joining Barcelona, because initially the plan was, when Barcelona announced that they were going to sign him, that they were bringing him in possibly in January, but most likely it was going to be in the summer. But then they figured out a way to get around the financial fair play. Vitor Roque was registered in January. He was taken from a team that he was consistently starting in, and he was doing very well in the Brazilian league. But Barcelona, they knew they needed some reinforcement in the number 9 position. They knew they needed something to change because their season was not going very well. They needed to make an addition in January, and Vitor Roque was the player that they brought in. And it was very obvious that Lewandowski was very much underperforming, and he was not doing good enough to be starting consistently every single week, no matter how bad he played. And Xavi, there's a quote from December 2nd that says, "Yes, we're very excited that Vitor Roque is joining in January. We hope he can add something to the team." So it was very obvious that they brought him in with the intention of playing him. And then to begin with, in January, February, he started playing, and he was getting substitute appearances. Yes, he didn't look 100% comfortable, but that's not really expected in his first season from the Brazilian league. Yeah, it's not expected that he's going to come in and drop a great performance every single week, but he looked promising. He looked like he was making runs, he was energetic, and it was helping Barcelona. I think they looked like they were playing better when he was on the field, or at least they were more exciting to watch, in my opinion. And then finally, he gets his goal. It was incredible. It was just such a happy moment. It was, in my opinion, one of the happiest moments of this season for Barcelona. I guess we don't have too many to choose from. No, I'm still happy with Barcelona, of course, but the season hasn't been the best. So that was one of the better moments for the season, was seeing Vitor Roque score, get the winner from Cancelo's cross. It was a great goal from Vitor Roque. He won the game for Barcelona. And then the next game, he comes on again as a substitute, scores another good goal from a great run that he made, and then undeservedly gets sent off. And since then, he's had one start. He's had one start in the striking position with the midfield of Fermin Lopez, Oriol Romeu, and Sergio Roberto. That's the one start that he's had, and now it just doesn't look like he's really going to get minutes for the rest of this season. It all just does not add up to me at all, because if this was your plan, then just bring him in the summer so he can have a preseason with the club. That makes perfect sense. But instead, you rush him in January. You don't give him the proper time to adjust to Barcelona. You throw him into the deep end of the season when Barcelona are not playing very well, and look what happens. And then he actually was doing well, and then out of nowhere, you just decide to not play him, to just bring him on as a substitute in the last 5-10 minutes of the game. Yes, look, let's be honest. This is Barcelona. This is, one of the better teams in the world. Of course, I wouldn't say currently, but overall, Barcelona are one of the biggest clubs in the world. You're not expecting someone from Brazil, 18 years old, coming in his first couple months at Barcelona to be starting every single week. That's not what's expected. But this lack of game time and just this mismanagement of Vitor Roque, it's ridiculous to me, because if there were no talks that he was leaving on loan, I'd be completely fine with him just getting slowly adjusted to the team. But he started one game, and he's had a couple appearances off the bench, and now Xavi says, in an interview, he said, we're going to see what happens. It's possible that Vitor Roque goes out on loan. And then Vitor Roque's agent confirms those talks that Barcelona do potentially want to send him out on loan. He doesn't want to leave on loan. He says if we leave Barcelona, it's going to be permanently. It's a mess. Where did Barcelona go wrong in this situation? I just don't understand it. And in the end, if they were going to treat him like this, they should have just brought him in the summer. But then that begs the question, is he just not as good as Barcelona initially thought? So then are your scouts bad? It's a mess for Barcelona, and it's obviously not a good look for the club. Discussing this loan option, it just came out of nowhere, because unless there's something to do with financial fair play that we don't know, and also we don't see what's going on in practice, maybe he's just not at that level yet. But from what I've seen in games, yes, there's some times when his touches aren't the best. Yes, he doesn't feel the most comfortable on the ball. Maybe he's not making the right decisions. Maybe he's not up to the speed of the game. But that's all expected because he's in his first season in a top European league. So at that point, you want to give him patience. You want to have patience with him. You want to give him an opportunity to slowly be integrated into the team. But then you rush his signing in, and then within a couple months, you realize maybe he's not good enough yet. so you want to send him out on loan. It doesn't make much sense, and I think if there was a new coach, I have a feeling that he would be staying at Barcelona, but Xavi, it seems like he wants to send him out on loan. Maybe he just doesn't trust him to be starting or even coming on as a substitute. For me, he would be a great profile to come off the bench, especially, when you don't have a runner in behind with Lewandowski. And Lewandowski's performance yesterday was good. He can play as a hold-up striker fairly well on his day, but there's some days when he's just a passenger in the game. We all know how bad he struggled in the first half of the season specifically. But it's just a really bad situation from Barcelona because I don't think a loan would be the worst thing, and hopefully that wouldn't mean that, his career at Barcelona is done. And of course you would not want to sell him permanently. That would be terrible, terrible business from Barcelona. But yeah, I just don't understand this situation because obviously the plan was never to send him out on loan. The plan was to bring him in the summer and then slowly integrate him into the team with Lewandowski being 36 years old. Yeah, you want to, next year, Lewandowski will not be at the club. Well, this next season he will be, but 2025, I hope he would not be at Barcelona. That's the last year of his contract. Barcelona should not renew it. I mean, he's getting paid $32 million a year. You should be planning ahead for his departure. And Vitor Roque, given the fact that he would have a year and a half to be integrated into the team, hopefully he would be comfortable enough to be starting. I mean, that's the plan. When you spend 30 to 60 million on a player, that's the plan, is to slowly integrate him into the team and realize that he has a future at the club, you would think. And especially given Barcelona's financial situation, they don't have the luxury of messing around with their money. It was intentional to bring him in. And yeah, the plan was never to send him out on loan. But now that seems what's likely going to happen because Xavi doesn't count on him. And Vitor Roque's agent doesn't want to go out on loan. And a big thing for me is, what is going on with Vitor Roque? Like, what is this doing to his confidence? Because he's such a bright prospect. I still have faith that he is going to be a great player for Barcelona in the future. But what is this doing to his confidence? Because Xavi's made it abundantly clear that he doesn't count on him right now, and he doesn't think he's good enough to be playing for Barcelona. I mean, is that really the message you want to give off to a young player in his first season at Barcelona? It makes no sense to me. And if Xavi has zero plans for Vitor Roque next season, and given the fact that it's Xavi's last year, Vitor Roque spending the next season on loan, is it the worst idea for his development? No. Obviously, it'd be better than just getting literally 0 minutes on the bench and not starting any games, not coming in as a substitute in any games. But then that begs the question, where is he going to go out on loan? There have been some talks about Real Betis in Spain, Las Palmas. I think a team in the Bundesliga or a team in the Serie A, that'd be exciting to watch, and I would watch those games just to see Vitor Roque play. But I think the best thing for him and for Barcelona is to keep him at the club and then have him as a backup striker. Lewandowski, again, is 36 years old. The level that he's at, he should not be starting every single game and playing all 90 minutes. That's just not the player that he is right now, and that's reality. We have to face that. And Vitor Roque coming in as a substitute and getting minutes slowly, and then next season, the one after next season, when Lewandowski is not at the club, hopefully, if Barcelona were serious, they would not be re-signing a 37-year-old Lewandowski and paying him 20 million, 30 million a year. If Barcelona were a serious club, that's what would happen. Then Vitor Roque would slowly be integrated into the team, and then when Lewandowski leaves, it'd most likely be Vitor Roque and Ferran Torres or another striker that Barcelona buy, maybe Marc Guiu. We don't know. But yeah, Vitor Roque should be getting the minutes and the confidence in Barcelona to slowly be integrated into the team. I mean, you threw him into the deep end of the season. I mean, I don't know what type of player would even succeed in the situation that he's been put in, and then you sit him out on loan within a couple months. Either your scouts are really bad and you thought you saw more in Vitor Roque than you actually did, or Xavi has handled this situation very poorly, which I think that's the case. I think Vitor Roque, from what I've seen, yes, he's not the most finished product, but unsurprisingly, because he's in his first couple months in Barcelona, I think he's a great player. He loves Barcelona. He wanted to join the club. He got other offers for more money elsewhere, but he still decided to join Barcelona, and this is how the club treats him. It's not the best look, and some fans at Barcelona's game yesterday were chanting his name in the stands. That was great to see, and hopefully he feels the love from everyone around the club, because no one that I've seen really understands this situation. I understand completely him not starting every game. That's not surprising, but just this treatment specifically, I would not mind, again, if these were the minutes that he was getting, but there's no talk of a loan next season. But the fact that there's talk of a loan, and then Vitor Roque's agent comes out and says, we're not leaving unless it's permanently, yeah, it just looks like a mess for Barcelona, and they've handled this situation very poorly. There are no ways around it. And like I said, Barcelona, there are going to be so many talents from South America that Barcelona wants to bring in, because there are so many great young players there that a lot of South American players, they love Barcelona. They want to join the club at some point in their future. That's one of their dreams. And now they see Vitor Roque, a player that just came from Brazil. In his first couple months, he's getting treated like this. Isn't that a bad look? Is that the look that you want to give off to the young players around the world? I mean, I think of Esteval Willian, who I think has the same agent as Vitor Roque. It looks likely that he's off to Chelsea. But, I mean, what's he thinking? He loved Barcelona. He's made it clear that he would love to join Barcelona in his future. It doesn't seem like Barcelona would be able to sign him soon. But, I mean, what are his thoughts on this? Because, especially if he has the same agent as Vitor Roque, it's rough to see. And, yeah, I just worry about the South American talents that are seeing this situation with Vitor Roque at Barcelona. I mean, what are they thinking about this situation? Are they going to be comfortable joining Barcelona straight from South America? I don't know. And, yeah, it's a bad look from Barcelona. This is not the perception that you want to give off to young players that are dreaming of joining Barcelona at some point in their career. And the best case scenario, not only for Vitor Roque, but also for Barcelona, is to keep him at the club in the summer and play him next season. Have him be the backup number 9 for Barcelona, because when Lewandowski, if he's the only striker that Barcelona have going into next season, they are going to struggle. It's going to be frustrating to watch. He's turned his form around massively, like I said, but he's not the most entertaining to watch. And Barcelona, I just think sometimes they look way too predictable with him on the field, and him being the only 9 on the field because he's not making any runs. A lot of the times he's taking up space. He's making it difficult for the center backs. He's able to sometimes turn and play the right pass. But a lot of the times it looks way too predictable for Barcelona, and they just make it too easy for the other team because they're not making runs in behind. They're not leaving the defenders on the edge of their seat. They're just making it easy for Barcelona. If I were the other team, I would not mind Lewandowski being on the field for 90 minutes. Not that I don't think he's a great player, and yeah, he scored a lot of goals for Barcelona, especially in the second half of the season, but sometimes he makes it a little bit too easy for Barcelona. They're a little bit too predictable with no runners going in behind. And Vitor Roque, you have a great runner in behind who's energetic, who's pressing very well, who has a lot of time to learn, who has a bright future ahead of him, and you want to send him out on loan. It's really difficult to understand. And like I said, not only for Vitor Roque, but for Barcelona, because if you go into next season with just Lewandowski and then maybe Ferran Torres, I think we're going to have the same exact problem that we had at the beginning of this season. And then Barcelona are going to think about bringing a striker in, but then they just remembered that they spent 30 to 60 million on a striker, yet they didn't give him a single chance. Very, very odd situation. It's a bad look for the club. And yeah, I mean, he started one game. He has started one single game with a midfield of Oriol Romeu, Sergio Roberto, and Fermin Lopez. That's his opportunity that he got. And again, like I said, we don't see what happens in training. Maybe he's not at that level. But what I've seen on the field is that he can make a good impact on Barcelona, not even in the future, but also next season. But if Xavi has no plans for him, maybe it's best for him to go out on loan, go to the Bundesliga where, he has some space to run in behind, or stay in La Liga if you want to learn more about the Spanish, league and get more accustomed to working in tight spaces and not having as much space possibly, or go to the Serie A. I mean, I think that's a good league. So I don't know, really, really difficult situation to try and explain from Barcelona's point of view. I think they've handled the situation really poorly, and there are no ways around it. But anyways, I mean, my friend asked me about the Vitor Roque situation over text, and I sent him an 8-minute long voice message because I just was so tired of typing it out. It's terrible. I mean, I could talk about it all day because there are just no explanations for it, and I continue to bring up questions because it just doesn't make any sense to me. But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Xavi's right about this, and maybe Vitor Roque is not at the level, but I don't want to think that. I don't believe that, because what I've seen is Vitor Roque can provide something for Barcelona in the future and also next season, because when he's came on the field, I think he's made a difference in Barcelona's attack. He gives the midfielders and the wingers an ability to run in behind. I mean, he was not finishing off his chances, but wasn't it amazing to see someone run in behind and actually get a one-on-one for Barcelona and get a chance to run in behind? That was amazing to see. We don't see that. We don't see that for the last 100 games of Barcelona. We have not seen that. Unsurprisingly, because it's Lewandowski and he has different strengths, but if you want to be competitive, it's good to have different profiles in the team. You have Lewandowski, who can be decent and hold up play. Yeah, sometimes it's pretty frustrating to watch as well. But Vitor Roque, I mean, he can run in behind. Maybe he's not at that level technically, but he can have time. He has time on his hands. He's 19 years old now. Yeah, he has a lot of time in his future, so I think he can get to that level. I think he can be a great player for Barcelona's future. But he needs a chance in Barcelona. They have to do that. That's the first priority. You have to give him a chance, give him a proper chance, not just one start with Oriol Romeu. Ferran Torres, or no, Fermin Lopez and Sergio Roberto. That's not a true chance. And yeah, to send him out on loan, it just seems like a bad decision. But if it's an exciting club to watch next season, and he knows that Xavi isn't going to give him any minutes, yes, it's better than him sitting on the bench and getting zero playing time. And it's also better than him being sent out permanently. But yeah, really poorly managed situation for Barcelona and Xavi. You got to raise a lot of questions about that. But yeah, anyways, thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. And I could talk about this all day. I'm sure we're going to hear more about it. And it's just a difficult situation at Barcelona right now. And, I think there are still a lot of positives. And, we should all have faith in Barcelona. But yeah, just a really poorly managed situation, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people are also asking questions about it. But again, it was nice to see Barcelona fans, chanting Vitor Roque's name at the game yesterday. That was really nice. But yeah, I hope Vitor Roque, he still has confidence in himself because I think he can be a great player for Barcelona. So thank you all again for watching. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And Visca Barca. See you all later. Peace.